it was the center of the United States. He's called it the belly button. He said that was the center. And maybe in 1973, he was driving from New York to San Francisco, which people did a lot then. And he was with his friends. And as he got close to Wichita, he began to think about the war in Vietnam, and he began to call as witnesses for him his teachers and the people that inspired him. And he gets very worked up and begins, at the moment of extreme excitement, he declares the end of the war. He comes down to his normal consciousness, and he realizes that the war is still going on. He's still in Kansas, and maybe nothing much has changed, and we're still in Kansas, which is very broad and very empty. And he says a funny thing then. He says, now that his 60 miles from Wichita near El Dorado, and that told me that he wrote the poem in 1 hour. And I asked him at that time, I said, Alan, did you write the poem between Wichita and El Dorado? He said, yes, I did. He said, but I spent weeks polishing it, rewriting it, but the whole thing was conceived in that 1 hour. So you'll actually hear that when he comes to that place in the poem, it's quite near the end. So the piece begins, I imagine Kansas, I don't know whether you know, it's very, very flat. There's nothing there, really. It's really flat. It's a little bit like parts of Australia, except Australia is vast. This is just flat. And I thought maybe there would be a church somewhere, and I began playing something that might be a hymn in the church. And then we hear Alan's voice comes on, and he begins talking about America and American language. And it's a piece which now, at the time it was about that war, but there have been so many wars since then. And it just seems that I think what he was talking about is still very much with us today. So the music was actually written in 1987, but the poem was written in 1973. So this is Wichita Vortex Sutra. Wichita was the place. Vortex means an energy system, and sutra is a prayer. So this is a prayer for the energy system called Wichita.
Not the empty sky that hides the feeling from our faces, nor our skirts and trousers that conceal the body love emanating in the glow of benumbing skin, white, smooth abdomen down to the hair between our legs. It's not a God that bore us, that forbid our being, like a sunny rose all red with naked joy between our eyes and bellies. Yes, all we do is for this frightened thing we call love, want and lack, fear that we aren't the one whose body could be beloved of all the brides of Kansas City, kissed all over by every boy of Wichita. Oh, but how many in their solitude weep aloud like me on the bridge over Republican. Almost in tears to know how to speak the right language. On the frosty, broad road, uphill between highway embankments, I search for the language that is also yours. Almost all our language has been taxed by war. Radio antennae, high-tension wires ranging from Junction City across the plains. Highway cloverleaf sunk in a vast meadow. Lanes curving past Abilene to Denver, filled with old heroes of love. To Wichita, where McClure's mind burst into animal beauty. Look, getting laid in a car in a neon-misted street 15 years ago. To Independence, where the old man's still alive, who loosed the bomb that slaved all human consciousness and made the body universe a place of fear. Now, speeding along the empty plain, no giant demon machine visible on the horizon, but tiny human trees and wooden houses at the sky's edge. I claim my birthright. Joy reborn after the vast sadness of the war gods. A lone man talking to myself. No house in the brown vastness to hear. Imagining that throng of selves that make this nation one body of prophecy. Language by declaration as pursuit of happiness. I call all powers of imagination to my side in this auto to make prophecy. All lords of human kingdoms to come. Shambhu Bhakti Baba naked covered with ash. Kaki Baba fat belly mad with the dogs. Deharaha Baba who moans, oh how wounded, how wounded. Sitaram Kartartakar who commands, give up your desire. Satyananda who raises two thumbs in tranquility. Kalipada Guharoy whose yoga drops before the void. Shivananda who touches the breast and says, Om. Srimati Krishnaji of Vrindavan says, take for your guru William Blake, the invisible father of English visions. Sri Ramakrishna, master of ecstasy, eyes half closed, who only cries for his mother. Chaitanya, arms upraised, singing and dancing his own praise. Merciful Shango, judging our bodies. Durgama, covered with blood, destroyer of battlefield illusions. Million-faced Tathagata, gone past suffering. Preserver Hare Krishna, returning in the age of pain. Sacred heart, my Christ acceptable. Allah, the compassionate one. Yahweh, righteous one. All knowledge princes of earth, man. All ancient seraphim of heavenly desire. Devas, yogis, and holy men I chant to. Come to my lone presence, into this vortex named Kansas. I lift my voice aloud, make mantra of American language now. I here declare the end of the war. Let the states tremble. Let the nation weep. Let Congress legislate its own delight. Let the President execute his own desire. This act, done by my own voice, published to my own senses, blissfully received by my own form, approved with pleasure by my sensations, manifestation of my very thought, accomplished in my own imagination, all realms within my consciousness fulfilled 60 miles from Wichita, near El Dorado, the golden one, in chill earthly mist, houseless brown farmland plains rolling heavenward in every direction. One midwinter afternoon, Sunday, cold, the day of the Lord. Pure spring water gathered in one tower where Florence is set on a hill. Stop for tea and gas.